Welcome back to the Triple Baka podcast once again. This is episode 5. I'm Nyuu.
Hello, I'm Tom.
Hi.
And I'm very tired.
Yes.
I should go to bed.
No.
But I'm not gonna, because I can't record this tomorrow.
This is the sleep episode of the podcast where we all get some rest.
Remember to drink plenty of water and to eat 3 meals a day and to get your exercise. None of these things are things I do.
I have not watched very much of anything. However, I have still watched a little bit. I watched a few episodes more of Ashita no Joe, and I will be finishing it eventually. I have come to find out Ashita no Joe is effectively only 54 episodes long, because apparently it goes, like, really downhill after that, and the events that come afterward are, summed up in the first, like, few episodes of Ashita no Joe 2, which comes in 1980, 10 years later. And universally, almost everybody says to literally just stop watching after episode 54 and watch Ashita no Joe 2. So, that's the plan now.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I watched some stuff. I did watch some stuff. So I watched the first episode of my next mech anime. I should mention I'm putting Ideon on hold. I will come back to it later when I am feeling more refreshed and ready to go at it. However,
that guy, I've been informed, Ideon is actually really cool.
Yeah, I don't...
So definitely come back to it eventually.
Yeah, I don't doubt that it's really cool, but, like, I need a little break from Tomino for a little bit. So, I will be back. Don't you guys worry. I will be back to Udaeon probably at the end of 1980. I'll come back to it. But I did watch the first episode of the next show, Uchu Senshi Baldios. And it seems pretty alright, not gonna lie. It isn't terrible so far. It's got a lot of weird 70s anime-isms still hanging around there. Anytime anything futuristic moves, it goes like pew 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 or like something like that. It makes like weird future sounds.
Every futuristic item shoots lasers.
Quick editor, put in future sounds right now, right here. All right, now make them stop.
Okay.
Make them really quiet.
Just put them very quietly in the background of the rest of this episode.
Yeah.
The fucking scope creep of the editing on these.
The Baldios show is like very okay. I wouldn't say it's like, spectacular or anything, but like I don't know, it's got a neat plot.
Fine.
I'll give it the 3-episode test, and if it's still not catching my eye, I'll move on. But that's the only mech show that I've watched this week, unfortunately, because I took a small break from mech to watch something else, and that something else was School Live. I believe otherwise known as Gakko Gurashi.
Gurashi.
I destroyed that, and I'm aware I destroyed that. It's like 90 degrees in my room. You're gonna have to forgive me if I misspeak.
It's called Gakko Gachimuchi.
No! Gakko Gurashi, though. And, Sayu, I can see why it's on your 3x3.
Yeah?
I can see it, yeah. It is a very good show.
I have yet to watch it. I know what it's about.
Yeah. I will say for the viewer, School Live, Gakko Gurashi, go watch it. Don't spoil yourself on anything about it. Just go onto Crunchyroll, click on the first episode, don't read anything, don't read the description, just watch it.
It's just a fun slice of life.
It's a very good time.
Very good.
You will walk away very, very happy. Okay, yeah, I think that's all the stuff I watched this week.
You watch anything, Sayu?
No.
Alright. That is not it for this segment, though, because we got some news. I'm gonna, like, occasionally turn this also into the anime news segment. Apparently, and this is what has inspired me to choose the topic for today. Made in Abyss was commissioned for a script of a live-action adaptation for Columbia Pictures. I bet that's gonna turn out real good.
Oh no.
Oh no.
They're gonna remove everything.
I am fucking excited. I am hyped beyond words. I'm ready for the CG Nanachi. I'm ready for the, like, just, like, diet Avatar James Cameron environments.
Oh my god.
I'm ready for... I don't even know what they're going to do with the main characters. They can't keep them children. Like, that just wouldn't... The child actors, you couldn't do it.
No, I know exactly what they're gonna do. It's gonna be about a team of military response people who are going into the hole to get resources for the people in the real world up above, and they're just gonna go into the hole. And they're going to take the resources out of the hole, and it's going to make the hole mad. And they're going to be like, "Oh, we're making the Earth angry," and that's going to be the plot of the movie.
Or maybe it could be like, a family is on an expedition in the woods, and it turns out that
it's not what they expected.
It's not a big thing that a city is built around, but rather it's like the Undertale hole, where, like, you don't see it there at first. It's like the Journey to the Center of the Earth hole, or like the million other things where, like, somebody falls down a hole, you know, the whole rabbit hole thing.
Yeah.
What was that story?
Alice?
Yeah, that one. It's like that thing. And they learn a valuable lesson. I don't fucking know. They're just gonna, like, use it in name only. There's no way that they would make it accurate.
No. No.
They're gonna be
as well.
They're gonna be a Death Note 2.
You guys see that trailer for Chainsaw Man?
I did not.
I saw part of it, like, and I saw that it looked cool, and that's as much as I saw before I decided I want to go into it more blind.
I've heard whole lots of things about Chainsaw Man for a long time. And I was gonna read the manga, but honestly, that trailer looks good enough for me to just watch the anime. I don't have a lot of faith in MAPPA, but apparently they have created an entirely new branch of their company with a, quote, focus on improving the work environment, that this is the first project that branch is working on.
MAPPA has been kind of doing really, like, a lot of good things recently. Like, they made Jujutsu Kaisen. That was really good.
They also made Yasuke.
Yeah, that.
Well, as you guys know, I am a manga boy, so I will probably be reading the Chainsaw Man manga once they start compiling it into the larger volumes.
Yeah, I started reading the manga for something else from the same author a while ago, Fire Punch. And it was pretty good. I only read, like, the first, like, 3 chapters, and I want to finish it eventually, but I don't read that much manga.
Oh, wait a minute. I did actually read something. I forgot about that.
Oh, yes.
I read the first volume and a half of Rave Master, finally, after all these years of owning them, and having grown up with the series as a kid. It sucks. It's I don't know. There's a certain chaotic quality to the writing. There's literally an interview with the author at the end of the first volume that goes something along the lines of this. Well, I was going to have the mentor character die, and I did get as far as drawing them die, but then I decided that was too cliche, so I just decided that they didn't. And that's exactly what happens. The mentor character gets a hole blasted through him, and then he just doesn't die. And he gets back up and is on bed rest for a couple days, despite missing half of his internal organs.
Yeah.
But, that's part of the writing. I might finish it, I might not, who knows.
I guess one could say, where are his organs?
Alright, last bit of anime news. Last bit of anime news here.
Yeah?
Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.01 is premiering on Prime Video.
Fuck.
Even though the rest of the series is on Netflix, I guess Prime just, Amazon really chilled out. They were like, all the kids are gonna watch 3.0 plus 1.01. That's the title of the home release.
I hate streaming.
It's not like I was gonna watch it on Netflix anyway.
I literally want all official legitimate streaming services to just die.
Apparently streaming is like really not popular in Japan. Apparently like most of this like anime streaming service stuff is just like totally ignored over there. Mm-hmm. Like Netflix, despite having a apparently just really good catalog of anime in the Japanese servers, that money is being invested for no reason, because nobody over there has been adopting like Netflix user numbers have not been going up very much in Japan for like the past entire time that Netflix has been around.
Huh.
They're actually at negative users.
So this is only further proof that they know something we don't.
Apparently.
Why does anybody use streaming services? That's its own topic. That's another like endless complaining topic, which seems to be all that we choose. Is streaming services.
I hate them so much, but that's
you know what? Thing. That could actually be a larger discussion about copyright.
Oh God. Oh no.
That would be fun.
You can't reveal me as a communist this early into the podcast.
I think we're all kind of communist. A little bit. I'm not sure if I would call myself a communist, but I think maybe somebody else would.
I don't have a name for my beliefs. All I know is I took one of those little things and it told me I was a Marxist. So, that works for me. I've never read Marx. I won't read Marx.
A political beliefs episode would be really funny, because that's where I get to have a schizo meltdown.
You know what? Yeah, let's go for it one of these weeks. All right.
All right. I think that's all for this section, though.
Yeah.
We're moving on to, as foreshadowed in the main Abyss mention, adaptations of all kinds. We got light novels into anime. We got anime into live action movies. We got video games into live action movies.
Anime into manga.
We got anime into manga. We got anime into manga into live act. I don't think that's actually been done. But I guess there's this. Where do we want to start with adaptations?
All right,
we didn't think this out ahead. I know we have things to say, but
everybody, quick! Are they all good or all bad?
I'm gonna say all good.
I'm gonna say all good.
All right. So we all watching Deathflix later?
Yeah.
Ironically, yes.
That movie is actually a masterpiece for all the wrong reasons.
Okay, we're gonna get this one out of the way right away. Mario Brothers, the movie from the 90s, is a 10 out of 10. If you say anything less, you're wrong. I have it on good authority.
Wait, shut up. Editor, quick. Put in that clip of Mario flying through the void from that movie.
I have a confession to make. I've never actually watched the Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, that would be a great one for sitting down sometime with.
Yeah. It is a masterpiece. It is so good.
I love it so much. I've seen it like 4 times.
So everyone just think of an adaptation you want to talk about. I've got one.
We got plenty. I mean, we got Death Note. We could talk. I mean, there's plenty more to say about everything we mentioned so far.
I have a very specific one I would like to bring up, but I would like to give you two the chance to speak first before I consume the podcast.
I mean, it's a back and forth, you know. Say what you wanna.
All right. Of all the adaptations I have ever seen in my entire life, the absolute worst one I have ever seen is the Castlevania Netflix cartoon.
All right, I guess I haven't watched that one. And I guess the all good is going to be challenged here for the first time.
The Castlevania Netflix cartoon took a franchise about exploration and gothic architecture and moody atmospheres and techno-pop and, like, a whole lot of other crazy shit that goes on in those, and, like, classic movie monsters and just, like, a bunch of cool shit happening, and it removed literally fucking all of it for a bunch of cardboard cutouts making witty comments at each other like it's some sort of fucking Marvel movie, and I fucking despise everything about it, and I want nothing to do with it for the rest of my life. Anyone who brings it up to me will get a glare from me, followed by me continuing to ignore them. So, there you go.
A real mean look.
It's the worst I can do in public without causing a scene.
Would you say this is your least favorite anime adaptation?
It's not an anime. It moves like a fucking cartoon. I'm sorry.
You know what? I've actually we're getting on a tangent here, but I've turned around. It looks like anime. I've decided that, speaking of political beliefs, I am an accelerationist. Americans can produce anime. Castlevania's an anime.
No.
What's that other thing? Like Korra's an anime. Invincible's an anime. That one's especially an anime.
Why?
And the reason for this, though I know I am lying, I am a grifter. If we insist that these shows are anime, that prevents Americans from feeling the need to touch actual anime producers.
You know what? I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
No, we don't need more Yasukes, okay? We don't.
No, I know exactly what we do need, and that's no media from America.
It's true.
Most American media, I'm not gonna say all, but most American media is, like, so fucking soulless.
I really want to dive into that at some point, no matter how much of a dumb weeb it makes me sound like. Because so often when I'm watching things produced by Americans, it's literally like reaching negative soul levels, where it's like sucking out mind to replace its own void.
Yeah.
That can be next year's 4th of July video.
Yeah.
Why we hate America. But we're not going to
get into that right now. I actually think I think there's some good American produced things.
Just like
mostly live action film. I feel like live action film is like the only American entertainment industry which has like a capacity for like actual creatives to like inject some of their own, you know, soul energy into, as seen in Battle Angel Alita.
Oh, yes.
We're coming back. I watched Battle Angel Alita in theaters, like, when it came out. Didn't watch it in 3D, which is a little lame, but I did watch it. and I had no hope for that movie at all. I was like, James Cameron, didn't that guy make Avatar? I wasn't a fan of Avatar. It looked pretty though.
Yeah. I watched Avatar in 3D, and it was a very cool tech demo.
Battle Angel Alita is also like a tech demo. It turned out James Cameron did not direct it. It was directed by Robert Rodriguez, who you may know from the greatest movie of all time, Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Oh my god.
Wait, really?
Yes. But it was produced by James Cameron, basically as an excuse to test off, like, weird CG technology. The main character of that movie is 100% CG. There is not a single bit of practical effects anywhere on them.
Editor, put up a picture of Ailita's fucking face.
Yeah, but it's not just the face. Their entire body is fully CG.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know it. It's like, if they didn't make the face look really weird, you could hardly tell that the character was not a real person.
I thought they were just like a real person with like some kind of like filter, like high budget filter effect on their face.
No, the character is completely computer generated.
That is insane. All right.
The leading theory on Battle Angel Alita is that it was a side-funded project from James Cameron because he thought the manga was kind of neat because Guillermo del Toro showed it to him. And he was like,
cool.
And he said, this would be a good idea to test all of those weird CG things that I'm going to put in Avatar 2.
Okay, we've talked about, like, the best American adaptation. Now we gotta talk about the third best. I was gonna say second best, but Death Note takes second best, hands down.
Death Note takes first best? What are you talking about?
Okay, Death Note takes first best. Either way, this is third. We gotta talk about Ghost in the Shell. Starring Scarlett Johansson.
You know, actually,
as
I think Ghost in the Shell next to Battle Angel is a really good side by side. Because, you know, next to additionally, we got the trilogy going on now. We got Death Note in here too.
Yeah.
This is a whole topic. Broadly speaking, accuracy in adaptation, faithfulness.
Worthless.
How much does it matter? How much does it matter? I think there's something to be said about the way that Ghost in the Shell attempted to be faithful without understanding what the definition even was. Just somebody told them, be faithful with this adaptation, and they were like, oh, what's that mean? And then they decided to go with their first thought, which was to just inject like scenes throughout the movie that were in the 1995 movie, but they also have their own script, like with their own characters that are nothing like the original.
I think that faithfulness is inherently completely worthless as a value for adaptations, remakes, or whatever.
Well, you see, that's why we also have Battle Angel in here, because Battle Angel was really pretty faithful to the original manga. Not even the OVA, the manga.
Yeah. No, I think faithfulness is somewhat of a virtue when it comes to adaptations, if you take it far enough in the right direction.
Okay.
If you aren't gonna take it far enough, if you aren't gonna carry it far enough in that direction, it's actually a hindrance.
I don't think it like makes it better if it's more faithful at all. It's just if you mess up trying to be faithful, it can diminish the quality of something really badly, like with Ghost in the Shell.
The way I would describe it is like, imagine it's like a 1 to 10 on faithfulness, right? And then like towards the 1 area, you have the potential for a really high, but you know, technically you also have the potential for really low lows in there. And then, like, it dips really hard in the middle, but then it goes really high, like, back up once you get to the super faithful adaptation, you know? In terms of, like, potential for quality.
I think the biggest problem with, like, faithfulness a lot of the time is that sometimes you attempt to be very faithful with an adaptation, and what it ends up doing is, even though you're essentially recreating a lot of things from the original, you're still losing a lot in that, like, the reason why things were a certain way in the original is because within that medium, the way it was being told, or at least within that style, if it's like... This happens in remakes, too, where you remake a game, and even though it's still a game, it misses so much from the original. Because you don't understand the meaning that certain things carry in the original work, and when you just, like, put them in the new one... and you miss the meaning, then it essentially, like, detracts from the new one. Like, the whole problem with the Ghost in the Shell movie was they have these new characters, they have this new setting, a new canon, all of it, and they put in these original scenes. And if you haven't watched the original, then those scenes kind of just don't really make sense.
Merge with me, Makoto.
They don't mean anything in particular, so they're kind of just like random cool shots that aren't connected to the rest of the movie. And if you have watched the original, they actively detract from the new story which is being told, because when you see something referenced, a good reference, beyond just like comedy, a good reference to something can take the original meaning and, like, bring the context that it was in and just kind of, like, sprinkle it into a new work, and that can kind of, like, augment the meaning of whatever it's interacting with. But it can also, like, become in conflict with itself, where the original Ghost in the Shell 1995 Mamoru Oshii movie stands for things which the new movie simply does not.
Yeah.
And the things that those scenes were conveying were part of the movie's original themes, which are in complete conflict with the new one.
Yeah. A really good example of a thing that does, like, the reference really well is the ending of Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 spoilers, of course. But in Dark Souls, I guess, like, in Dark Souls 1, right, like, the final boss, Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, has this very, very, like, famous theme. Editor, put it in a little bit right here. Just like the opening piano. It's got a very, very recognizable piano theme in here. And then in the ending of Dark Souls 3, when you're fighting the Soul of Cinder, the big final boss, it is, like, the theme of the Soul of Cinder also has that piano motif in there, and it, like, once you get to phase 3, it actually takes over the entire boss theme and becomes one of the only things you can hear. And that is, like, such a good reference, because the ending of Dark Souls 3 is fundamentally the same as the ending of Dark Souls 1, but it's meant for you to reflect on both journeys and to make you make the correct decision once you end the game, whether to link the fire or finally let it fade and move on, you know? That is, like, you know, a really good moment for Dark Souls 3. In general, and just a really good way to plant one of those references in somewhere.
So, I think references and, like, good adaptation are almost, like, tied to each other. Because you're kind of trying to do a similar thing, but with a faithful adaptation, or whatever, you're kind of trying to do what you're doing in a reference, but for, like, the entire work, where it's no longer calling back to something, but it is rather rebuilding the entire meaning of all the parts, like everything that you would reference. into a single thing. And that's why Battle Angel Alita is really good, because even though it's not like shot for shot the manga panels or whatever, it's like all the characters look different, they act a little different even, but they take like essentially every individual piece of meaning that would have formed the whole of the first section of Battle Angel, and somehow they've translated it all into this Hollywood movie format. I think it's really the only Hollywood anime to live action adaptation that has ever been called faithful and good at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I really think Battle Angel's like 9 out of 10. I don't recommend that movie enough.
Yeah, I should probably watch it at some point. I plan on it someday, but, you know, American movies aren't exactly always the easiest to find, so, you know, just gotta keep an eye out for it. No, there is one adaptation that I do really want to talk about, and that's because of what it brings to the table in terms of adaptations, and that is specifically Howl's Moving Castle. I don't know how widespread of knowledge it is that Howl's is actually an adaptation of an American novel. It might be like a British one or something.
I don't think it's American. I have to look that up.
It's an English novel, anyways. Yeah. It's an adaptation of an English novel called Howl's Moving Castle, and there's a couple others. I actually own both of them. Castle... Oh, fuck, what is that? Castle in the Air and House of Many Ways are the names of the two sequels. And I have heard that the books are all super fucking good. I have heard that, like, they're really good, like, enjoyable fantasy novels. And the Ghibli film is also very good. But what it brings to the table is incredibly different from what the actual books bring to the table. And that doesn't necessarily make it any worse. Like, the thing about it is that it stands for something. It, like, means something in its own right, you know?
Yeah.
I've never read the original book, so I don't have anything to draw on for, like, its meaning. But, like, Howl's is all about, like, fighting your own family and valuing that and, you know, like, sort of, you know, growing your own life through tragedy. And that's, like, a really good message. And I think that's the key to good adaptations, is no matter how you get there, there has to be an artistic intent behind the adaptation.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunately not the case for the worst adaptation of all time, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
No! You didn't even watch it!
Of all time, I wouldn't say. However, I have almost intentionally feigned off mentioning Full Metal Alchemist in this conversation so far. I have a bit of a problematic take. That is, I don't like Brotherhood.
Problematic is another way to say stupid. Because you're dumb.
Come on, Sayu. Why do you like Brotherhood?
I have watched not all of Brotherhood. I think I have like 10 episodes left, and I haven't watched them yet. I didn't enjoy it. I just really feel like I should be reading the manga, but I don't even feel that way. I just feel like I should be watching 2003 again.
Yeah. No. I have read part of the manga, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really enjoy it all too much.
Alright, this is the Full Metal Alchemist episode now. Alright, we're gonna throw down, you and me.
I don't know how to explain
what's so good about Brotherhood.
I don't know how to explain what I like about it.
Right,
you
like
you
know how to respond to what I dislike about it.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the Brotherhood treats the characters so much worse than the 2003 series. I think, like, 2003, every time you watched an episode, or like a pair of like 2 episodes or whatever, anytime you watched one of their like little like stories for an episode, it was like beginning to end, it was a nicely encapsulated, like, part of the journey, and it was very well directed, and it had a lot of focus on the characters, which I really think is the strongest part of Full Metal Alchemist as a franchise, is the fact that you got, like, the metal man child and the metal arm child, and both of these characters have unique situations. They got really unique aspects to their personality. There's good dynamics going on, and they represent something. But in the Brotherhood, and from what I can gather, the manga, there's not as much focus put on them as characters as there is on just, like, the whole thing. And I really think that, like, all of the weird themes of, like, oh, the religion and the war and the, like, the endless cycle of violence, I really think these things are so much less good to watch. They're, like, so much less interesting than just, like, the characters. I don't think Full Metal Alchemist is a particularly amazing piece of fiction thematically.
Someone's setting off fireworks nearby. So I am so sorry, editor, if you have to deal with that. I don't know if my mic's picking that up or not.
I didn't hear that much.
I haven't heard of it all.
Okay.
Full Metal Alchemist 2003, good directing, good character. Brotherhood, bad. And the backgrounds are really ugly.
Editor, throw in the background.
What? I never understood this complaint.
They're so ugly.
You sent the one image that one time at me, and
the fucking, like, everything is drawn, like, inaccurately. It looks like the background was drawn in, like, 5 seconds, where, like, there are just things that are not in proportion to each other, and there are, like, things that are not in perspective right.
No.
Wait. It looks like a fucking Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
You're delusional.
Sayu, would you agree with me that Brotherhood is a pretty close adaptation of the manga, right?
I don't know. I didn't read the manga.
Editor,
okay.
Throw up the funny picture of Ed pointing.
That picture is from a genuinely really great scene.
Okay. Well, ignoring that, no.
And they made it really funny.
Right? Okay, so the way I'm seeing it, right, I have two paths for enjoying my Full Metal Alchemist experience. I can either watch the 2003 show and get a very unique, very well-directed, very interesting look into the world of the show, or I could go and watch Brotherhood, and I could just get the manga again, but this time in color. But what's this? A new path is open in front of me, and it's just reading the manga.
You know what?
Oh my god. Wait a minute.
Here's my favorite kind of adaptation. Here's the objectively best use for adapting a thing.
Not doing it.
No. Adapting is good, but when it comes from people who were not involved with the original, who read the original, who liked the original, who saw something in it that was personally, like, you know, resonant with them, but they might have not thought that that's what the work was, like, trying to encapsulate on the whole. And they said, what if the work, like, was what I appreciated about it personally? Where, like, you see this in the 2003 version of Full Metal Alchemist, where clearly whoever was the overall planner for the 2003 anime adaptation saw things in the characters and thought that it should be more just, like, about, like, individual stories involving these characters, and thought that they could, like, better represent what they interpreted the themes as in telling, like, these more self-contained, well-directed, in, like, isolated stories, without having as much attention put on the overall, like, plot progression. You also get adaptations like the OVA for JoJo Part 3, which is so good. I love the OVA for JoJo Part 3. I love it so much that I haven't even ever seen the original.
The original is worse.
Because the OVA is not JoJo. It's like super not JoJo. It's more like intense, where like, you know that scene in JoJo Part 3 where like they're doing the betting thing where they're playing poker or whatever, and there's like the glass and like there's like the water droplets going in to the glass, and it's like about to overflow with whatever. The way they portray that scene in the OVA is like unbelievably high tension. Like it's so well done. And there's other parts where they like really ramp up the spookiness, where like Dio is like a genuine like threat, intimidating demon man, and you're like, oh, when you see Dio in the OVA, you like feel the demon aura coming off of him. You're like, this is an evil presence. Like, and they really ramp up like all of the sort of like more spooky supernatural elements of JoJo. Instead of making it seem like this over the top like wacky thing, it's more of like a genuinely like bizarre but in an unsettling way sort of thing.
Yeah. And honestly, I wish David Productions did more of that, honestly. I like the David Productions adaptations. I think they're fine. I think they're a pretty good way to experience the stories of JoJo, but they definitely lose to the manga by a fucking long shot. And, you know, if they had just gone in with their own direction on a lot of these parts, you know, you could really play up a lot more interesting things out of, say, Part 4 than just making the color palette wonky sometimes, you know? You could do a whole lot more with it than a one-to-one adaptation. And I wish that, like, I don't know, I wish more adaptations were like that so that they would be unique. And that way, even if we did have a manga that was bad, like, I don't know, what's a fucking terrible manga? I don't tend to keep them. Doubt is a perfect example of a terrible manga. I don't think I've even mentioned this fucking thing on the podcast before. Doubt is a manga about a bunch of people trapped inside of a fucking complex, and one of them is marked as the wolf, and they're like a killer, and if they kill all of the other people, they get out free, and if they don't, then they die and everyone else leaves. And it's like, it's bad. It's terrible. It's written really like sloppily, and the ending makes no sense and has like 14,000 different plot twists. But if someone ever like adapted Doubt to like an anime, they could easily make it super good by just changing how it ended and like having the right atmosphere and shot composition and colors and, you know, just all the right things in the scenes, you know? And it could totally be done, and I want that to be done more often. I want less Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhoods, and I want more Full Metal Alchemist 2003s.
You know what's another really good adaptation?
What?
The Rurouni Kenshin anime.
Yes,
shonen.
yes.
That was the one you remember. It had the theme song that started out as like a like it sounded like it was gonna be like, you know, a normal like intense boiling blood shonen OP, and then it became like a really upbeat like happy thing.
Yeah.
Rurouni Kenshin, I think I actually explained this already, but I'm gonna say it again. The original manga, the author has gone on in interviews to like explain their creative process because people love Rurouni Kenshin, but Rurouni Kenshin is like basically nothing but like this guy. He had already made like a bunch of basically like unsuccessful manga, and he was working at Shonen Jump. I think it was Jump. And he just had this editor who took, like, everything that Jump told him, and the editor was like, this is what Jump wants. And the manga author was just like, okay, whatever you say, editor, and they just like went along with that. Like every single creative decision, there was like, oh, why did you decide to make this character be like this? And they were like, oh, my editor told me. And so when you're reading the original, you can almost like feel it after a certain point where like you can kind of like imagine what would an editor say about what should happen next, and then like that's the way it is, and it like starts to make the entire thing feel like basically totally soulless because it is. But the people who worked on the anime version were like huge fans of Rurouni Kenshin, where they were like, oh yeah, and you can like feel how much they actually genuinely love all the characters and stuff. And there's just so much more personality in the anime version.
Yeah. I've never watched it, but yeah.
So that's really what I think good adaptation is not so much faithful, like recreating it, but rather just like the creative team. What did they see in this thing? And like reinterpreting it through their own lens. And if that's mostly faithful and it results in like a battle angel, then that's good. But if it's like something kind of weirder where it's like a JoJo OVA, then even better. And sometimes it goes off the rails and it like it diverts the story into its own thing, like the Full Metal 2003, which there's a lot you can say about Full Metal 2003's original story. I like it.
Okay, so
by the way, I'm kind of like dying and I need water. I'm gonna go for a minute. Okay, so
okay.
I really needed to drink something.
All right.
And all of the water pitchers that are, refillable, that got the filter in them.
Yeah.
They were all empty. And I didn't want to drink something carbonated.
Oh no. You're not drinking the tap water, are you?
I would never do that.
Oh,
because that will kill me. But there was a lone can of V8.
Fuck.
And I've never had one of these before. And I thought, it's got vegetables in it. It's like, it'll save me. It's like a health potion. And it does not taste very good.
All right.
What? I like V8.
It's like drinking a tomato. I don't like those.
I like tomatoes.
That line's making it in. All right, now that we're officially back, we got to talk about one of the worst, functionally, the adaptation on planet Earth right now that has done the most harm to the world. And I know because we were I think all of us, except for Nyuu, so me and Sayu were victims of this one.
Isn't this like the third worst adaptation yet?
Danganronpa the animation has
I've never actually watched Danganronpa the animation through.
It did so much damage. So if anyone is unfamiliar, Danganronpa is a game that is 6 chapters long, and each chapter is pretty lengthy, and it takes about 24 hours to beat it, ish. That's the how long to beat score. It might take you a little bit less, might take you a little bit more, give or take. So they gave that 13 episodes of anime.
Yes.
So essentially each chapter you had one episode for people standing around and talking, and then you had one episode for the class trial to solve the murder, and neither of these halves had any time to be developed in any way. They didn't have time to cover any of the details from any of the fucking cases, and to top it all off, they remade all of the fucking executions to be less violent. So
yeah.
Wait, did they remake? I didn't know they remade them. I thought they just played them.
No, they did remake them. It was kind of an interesting style. I remember seeing them where you know how the original executions were done with this like 2D painting style where they took like paintings of the characters and they kind of like wiggled them around to like exaggerate movements.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was about individual images. Mm-hmm. They like took those and they reanimated them like using traditional like frame by frame cell animation, but you know, digital, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of coloring it like you would typically in anime, they like colored it using paintings. So it was like the lines were animated, but the rendering on the characters was kind of like squished to fit within the line work that was already there. It looked really weird. So it was kind of neat, but it was also really weird, much like the originals.
And they just kind of like they pan away from like from first guys. I don't want to spoil it because you know it's Danganronpa. You got to experience it blind. But
the spoiler I care about.
Like the first guy, they pan away from his body getting pelted like a million times, and they sort of like block out a lot of the more violent actions that happen in the show, and it's just you know, leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you're watching it as an adaptation of the game. But a lot of people, since the game took until like 2014 to get officially translated, a lot of people just watched that instead of playing the game and got this super rushed, like, terrible interpretation of the story that, like, barely fucking covered anything and had almost, like, none of, like, the charm that the original had, and it just, like, It says a lot about Danganronpa that a lot of people were able to walk away from that still wanting more and wanting to see what the rest of Danganronpa was like, but that was a fucking mess of an adaptation. If they were even going to try it, it should have been at least double the amount of episodes. Yeah. And even then, I don't think they would have been able to do it justice.
Yeah. I feel like the way Danganronpa works, it kind of just...
Yeah, it needs to be a visual novel.
There's like too much like little stuff about it that like all the like little pieces that generally get lost in like pretty much any adaptation.
Yeah.
They're like what makes up a lot of what makes Danganronpa like really great. So it's one of the more notable things for me is I seem to remember in the show they cut out Monokuma's personality cracking and breaking towards the end of the first game. Like it's not really there as much. I think it gets like one scene or something. Meanwhile, you are tormented by that for an entire area in the game. And it makes for a very interesting area where, like, Monokuma is, like, literally, like, self-destructing. And you just have to accept that. And God forbid they ever did the second one. They never did, but it would have been terrible. I still fully stand by that they should have done it.
I don't
even though I've now played
anime, the industry really has, like, adapting things down to a science. Like... You know, people really complain about how, like, oh, they adapt the thing from the anime into the live-action movie, and then it's bad. Anime is, like, an entire industry built on almost purely adaptations. Like, a lot of people's favorite anime are often anime originals, and people will say, like, oh, well, anime's so good at adapting from manga because manga's kind of like an anime if it just moved less and didn't have music and voice acting.
That's not even remotely true.
It looks like anime, though.
I mean, it can be true depending on the adaptation.
There's definitely some anime, some manga, which, like, you can tell that they can... The author is, like, imagining what the anime would look like while they're writing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's some of them. Then there's, like, Berserk.
The unadaptable Berserk.
Yeah. Which did actually receive a very good adaptation.
Yeah, no, it did.
In 2016.
Yeah.
We're all on the same page, right? The best anime of all time, Berserk 2016.
Yeah.
No, the one from 1998 is like legitimately
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, from everything I've gathered, if you want to experience Berserk without reading it for some reason, what you do is you watch the 1998 stuff. I've heard there's a couple of movies that are good. I don't really know a whole lot about them. And then
Don't watch the movies.
Okay. I just know that they exist.
They're not bad. They're literally not bad. But they cover the same arc as the 1998 OVA.
Yeah.
And the OVA is the whole arc, and it is better.
Yeah. And then on top, like after the 98 stuff, there is a Dreamcast game that I think covers like the next arc that is apparently really good, albeit extremely expensive. Here, while you guys discuss, I will look it up.
From what I've heard, the process with Berserk is if you're not normally a manga person, you watch the 1998 OVA.
Yeah.
And that's like basically what most people say is like the best independent arc of Berserk.
Yeah.
And the OVA covers the whole thing. So watch the 1998 OVA, and if you are just like clamoring to figure out where the fuck this goes from there, then you read the manga.
Yeah. Okay. The game is called, in English, Sword of the Berserk Guts' Rage. And it looks like it sells for about 100 plus, 125 up from there.
And you need a Dreamcast for that.
Yeah, of course. So, I would say emulate it using a copy that you yourself bought on the internet. Yeah.
But what I was going to say about the anime industry is I think as many good adaptations come out of anime from
Bad
like
ones.
manga or even light novels. There's some really great light novel adaptations, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Such as Haruhi.
And Baka Monogatari.
For every Haruhi and Monogatari, we get a Kaguru Days.
Yeah, we get Kaguru Days and like every other anime. Okay, I really want you to think about this for a minute. Think about how many... I guess this is more of a modern anime thing, but, anime was always mostly adaptations. It kind of always had the same issue. But think about this.
Yeah.
Think about how many anime come out, like, every season. We're at, like, 40 to 50 anime every season. Like, new anime.
Too much.
No.
Think about how many of those people actually give a fuck about.
To be fair to that number, a lot of those anime, quote unquote, are bumper shows. Things that play at the end of longer things that are like 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes.
There's
that
a
are just
lot of
very
like
simple.
full, like, even if you take out those, there's still like 30, like 24-minute long episode anime that are just adaptations of some random fucking mobile game or like a light novel or fucking whatever. That like some boardroom meeting decided like, yeah, we can greenlight that. It kind of has an audience.
They like anime producers will literally throw everything at the wall to see what sticks.
And then like they get all of their like just new staff on it, and they're like, yeah, this is how they'll learn on the job. They'll adapt this thing, and then like it just becomes, there's like, you don't even know. There's like random anime where it's like some like Fujoshi, like Bishonen shit. Nobody ever watches those, like male harems.
I'll have you
like,
know.
And
there's
those
an
are,
audience
for the
there.
most part, there is, but for the most part, that audience is perpetually seething and coping because those adaptations just get handed to the lowest, like, bottom of the barrel staff at any individual studio. It's like every single thing that can be lame about an A1 Pictures production is just concentrated into like these lesser known properties for like smaller audiences.
Yeah,
and they never turn out good. And there's like 30 of those literally every season.
How does it... Eventually it'll stop happening, right?
No, it won't, because the reason why anime is this way is because these shows cost like as much to make as like one episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. So like they just greenlight a fucking shit ton of these. They burn through a few more like Japanese lives, just like dropping like flies. And one of them is a huge success, and so they make $1 million off of like this show, which cost like $5 to make.
Mm-hmm. And it's all the fun to the big projects.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
It's a very cynical way to look at the anime industry, which is not an industry that I'm, oddly enough, not an industry that I'm used to looking at in a very cynical way.
That's really the thing about like anime is, I guess Japan, but especially the anime industry, has this like culture of auteurship, mostly in like these primarily otaku driven mediums like, anime and manga.
Yeah.
Where it's like you just get some guy on and he's making the creative decisions. The corporate influence and decision making basically like begins and ends at like what gets greenlit for what reasons, and then like you have investors saying things like the decision making on you got to put certain songs in the anime. Like a lot of the time Sony's music thing is like in anime in the... Not many people know this, but most anime are funded by committee, where they're funded by multiple sources collectively, and then each of those guys will basically like make a request where it gets greenlit on the basis of the manga's doing good, or like it's got these things in it, and sometimes people like those, and on the rare occasion Shinichiro Watanabe's on this fucking thing. Are you really gonna deny him a show?
And that's how he got unlimited budget to rotoscope an entire anime.
Yeah. And then normally all of the different people that funded it are like, okay, we're a music group. Put the music somewhere in the show, like an insert or an OP or an ED. And that's gonna sell us some records. And then there's like the Shonen Jump or whatever manga publication is like, just make sure that people want to read the manga, leave it on a cliffhanger, bro. Stuff like that. But for the most part, outside of those few inputs, you don't have like a you're not allowed to express this, or you're not allowed to make it this way. You gotta like put it through the focus test. There's not focus testers, like that's just not a thing that happens in a lot of anime productions. For the most part, you get like the committee funding making the requests, and then you get past the green light from the producer, and then it's just like, okay, Mr. Director Man, what you gonna do with this?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. The anime industry's very odd.
Yeah.
Nyuu, I do not envy you in your goal to watch every anime. I don't. But I believe you can do it. I believe at you.
I'm still drinking this, like, V8.
I'm sorry.
Are you watching anime faster than they're coming out yet?
No.
Not yet. But the plan is to calculate that at some point and then start doing it.
What was it? Oh, yeah. I think is Adaptations winding down a little bit, because there was something that I just remembered that I looked into that doesn't really have a spot for me to talk about.
Yeah.
What are we thinking?
Yeah, we don't. I don't have any more to say
Alright.
about Adaptations.
All right. So
I still
if
got
you guys,
plenty, but
if you guys remember, a couple weeks I described a bunch of shows that I dropped, and one of them was Muteki Robo Trider G7.
Yeah.
The show with the best opening ever. Quick, editor, put in the robot again. Make him spin a little bit and play the song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we put this back in section 1, or are we just leaving this here?
We could just leave this here.
Okay.
I mentioned that I was like, man, the show seems so cool, but like, it's like it clearly doesn't care about anything, and it's like, whatever, you know, who cares? I'll watch one episode and I had fun with it, you know? I take it all back. I take it all fucking back. I was curious because Trider has an oddly visible effect on certain mecha shows and certain things. Like, whenever I looked up Trider, like, there's this video that comes up of Trider getting added to, like, a fucking mobile game recently, and I was like, what the fuck? Who's adding Trider to a mobile game? And I looked into it, and that brought me to the Wikipedia page, which had an entire section about the themes of the show. Which I was like, the themes of the show? Like a whole ass, like, 3 paragraphs on that? That doesn't sound right. And I read through it, and Trider is, oddly enough, it has, like, a point. It has, like, a purpose. It's got, like, a really strong message to it. It's not a message that, like, would have at all been, like, effective on me. It's aimed at Japanese school children still. So I'm still not going back to watch it. But any Trider fans out there who were like, what the fuck? He said that it doesn't care about anything. This show is about how there are people on both sides of war, and, like, you need to, like, see that, and, like, interacting with people is what life's all about. And it's like, yeah, okay, I see it now. I get it.
Yeah.
Cool it. I get it. So there. I
all
preempted...
those fucking Trider fans who were hounding at us in the comments.
I have preempted any Trider fans finding the podcast and being like, what the fuck? So there you go.
But I actually did want to talk about adaptations more, because we didn't touch very much on video game adaptations. Not things being adapted into video games, but rather the infamous movie or show adaptations of video games. People always are like, oh, video game movies are always so bad. There's never been a good video game movie. And then the Sonic movie, not the one from the OVA, the new Sonic movie came out, and people were like, oh, finally, the first good video game movie. There's been so many video game movies from anime, and I think people literally don't consider anime to be film. Like,
I think when they mention the first good video game movie, they mean out of the American market.
I think when people do that, most people aren't thinking about anime. Most people don't know about anime. Or, like, they know about anime, they don't know any anime.
Clamoring for, like, adaptations of video games. Anime's got plenty of them. We got visual novels. Maybe those aren't video games, but we got RPGs.
Almost
we got Persona.
Visual novel adaptation into an anime, with, like, a few exceptions, is, like, hot garbage.
We got Persona. Persona 3 movies were alright.
Wait a minute, hold on. No, we watched those.
They were alright.
You haven't played Persona 3.
Yeah.
As the official ambassador of a person who has played Persona 3 here, they were less good than you thought. Considerably so.
Like, that doesn't matter.
The entire emotional impact of the ending of the film was gone. Or of the movie, like, what is that? What do you call, like, a 4?
But I liked the characters, and I think that's more than what a lot of people have said of the games.
Wait. Spoilers for Persona 3.
Okay, wait,
Sayu,
no, I haven't fucking played it, don't do this.
Sayu, I literally can't explain this without talking about this, mute yourself.
Okay, fine, I'll deafen. Okay, yeah. I can't hear them.
We will yell at you when you're ready. Hold on. Just gotta confirm. Yep, okay. No. So,
The thing about Persona 3 is that even though I fucking hate all of the characters, I'm stuck with them. I am stuck with them all the way until the ending of the game where I die for them. I literally fucking despise every single one of them. I despise all of the social links. I despise every person I interact with. It's all fucking, like, really obnoxious bad people. But when I make the conscious decision to use the move Final Seal to, like, sacrifice my body in this world for them, that's like a statement. It means something when you get there. And the movies did not even remotely encapsulate that in any way. Like, all I could really say about that adaptation was that it just felt like a string of scenes from the game that people liked, and they put those together, and that was the movies.
All right, here, get Sayu back in here. That's their name in real life.
Yeah. That's how you spell it.
Sayu.
You just type Sayu at me.
Sayu.
All right. So I said my piece.
Here's my disconnect, I guess.
Yeah. You haven't played it.
I mean,
that's your disconnect.
No. I don't care. I don't care. I don't think the appeal of the films was like what you can get from how it ends, or like, I guess that's a misinterpretation. I don't care if the final scene wasn't particularly resonant with me, because I liked everything that came before it.
I guess.
The fact that it was a bunch of ostensibly disconnected scenes from the game was good. I actually, I just talked about this in the other server. I watched this movie called Penguin Highway, which is almost 3 hours long.
Yeah?
And there's like maybe 5 or 6 individual scenes in the movie which have anything to do with the plot or like central themes of the film. And I thought it was fine. I thought the characters were really flat, which made it boring. But in terms of like what was going on, I thought it was really fun. And I really enjoy this is why I like 2003 more than Brotherhood, is I like moment to moment stuff. I like what's going on. It's about the journey.
You should play Persona, any of them, actually. You'd probably like any of them at all.
But I thought that the film's versions of Persona 3 encapsulated the fun of the situations they were depicting pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, like, look, I'm not gonna call them, like, a necessarily bad adaptation. I'm just saying that they really, like, I don't know, it is very, very different from how the games portray any of it. And in my opinion, the game is particularly stronger, especially in this regard. Now, if you were to say like the Persona 4 adaptation, then you might have something there, because Persona 4's ending message is very easily encapsulated.
I kind of said Persona broadly. People like Persona 4 and 5 anime adaptations.
I've never seen anything from 5's anime adaptation. I don't know. 5 didn't resonate with me. I'll just say that much outright. 5 did not resonate with me much at all. Maybe it's because it was the first one that I played out of high school, so I couldn't really get into the characters' heads as much.
One of my few remaining internet friends is a huge fan of Persona completely, and they really like 5 especially. And they watch the 5 anime because they just love Persona 5 that much that they watched the anime version even though they already played the game. And they were like, oh, that was great. They just love it. So somebody liked it.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, yeah, I guess. But I don't know. The Persona 3 adaptations, particularly for me, like, I don't know.
I used to have this huge image of, like, a bunch, like, basically every video game to anime adaptation that was rated over a 7. But I lost it.
What was I? Oh, yeah, no, so... fuck. I gotta get back on the train of thought. Maybe it's just that it was Persona 3 that you brought up, because Persona 3 is a game that I feel a very particular way about. Like, I don't know. I can't really describe Persona 3 and my perspective on it to another person. It is probably the game I have thought about the most that isn't like Dark Souls or Project Diva or something, you know? Like, as far as raw themes go, it is the game I've probably thought about the most in my life. Which is weird, considering the fact that I fucking hated it for like 4 years. It's an interesting game. I give it like the PS2 version, a 6 out of 10. The PSP version, a 7
we got
out of 10.
plenty of good video game adaptations in anime. There's apparently a Professor Layton series, which is rated like a 7.25. We got God Eater. People love God Eater.
Oh my god. I literally forgot that had a fucking adaptation.
I heard the adaptation was actually pretty good, yeah.
I don't know. God Eater's weird. It's not...
It looked super cool.
It looked insane. I don't know, like... Have you ever seen it?
I literally watched like 5 episodes of it back in the day.
Yeah, God Eater took the like 4 shades meme, and it like decided it wasn't nearly enough.
God, I don't even... Oh my god, the 4 shades meme. I don't...
Do you not remember?
Does anyone have the original image? I gotta jog my memory.
What?
The thing was like when they made the new I guess it's not new anymore. What was that like weird steampunk anime? Do you remember the one?
Oh my god.
Oh no, Sayu.
Oh no!
Don't you fucking Ted name
Among
me?
Us.
Replace it with Among Us.
But do you have that? Do you? What was its fucking name?
Was it Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress?
Yeah, that one. The guy they got on like to direct Cabaneri in like an interview or something. This was just an inside joke. It wasn't like a real meme.
Yeah.
But he was like, anime back in the day in the 80s. You look at the characters and they're shaded with like 4 different shades on their cell animation, and anime these days is only like 2. So we wanted to go back. We wanted to shade the characters with 4 different shades. And so Cabaneri just is looking crazy with like all of these really detailed like shading on all the characters and stuff. And then God Eater is out here. Let's look at fucking God Eater. God Eater's out here looking like fucking... What the fuck?
Oh my god.
That's like what every frame of the show looks like. Like, that's what it looks like in motion.
Yeah.
The unfortunate... I unfortunately dropped God Eater about 5 episodes in, 5 or so, because unfortunately, as good as the show looks, it is still an adaptation of God Eater, and they adapted the plot pretty much like as accurate as you could get in like what, a 13 episode season of anime.
I don't even think it looks good. Like it kind of goes like so far. Like, sometimes it just looks fucking stupid.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wait, I think this looks fine.
What do you mean
Sometimes
this
it looks
fine?
great, but sometimes it looks...
This is like, you know, like those Borderlands cosplayers? This is like looking at one of them from the wrong angle.
What are you talking about?
He looks funny. He looks like a
Sayu,
CG
what do
man.
you mean? He literally looks like CG, but I know he's not. I've seen the show. No, but unfortunately, as, like, odd as this show looks, and I'd say it looks good a chunk of the time, it is an adaptation of a video game.
It looks really
good. One of the weakest plots I have seen in a long time. Yeah, no.
Okay,
the
but people,
plot of God
people
Eater
see.
is
I've heard more
good.
about the anime than I have about the game. I didn't even realize it was a game until I saw it on this list.
It is a game that me and Josh used to be into a long time
Apparently,
ago.
Valkyria Chronicles got a
broke.
7.6.
Oh, that's interesting.
I
There's
didn't
like a
even know
Dragon
that had an
Quest
anime
OVA.
adaptation.
Back in the 80s, they
There's
got
a
Dragon Quest OVA.
There's like a Fire Emblem thing
Yeah.
too, if I remember right.
Oh yeah. Fire Emblem, is it coming out or is it out?
I think I thought it was like an
this.
old thing, wasn't it?
No, I think we're getting a new one.
Oh damn.
Oh, and I know that it's CG, but it's still anime. Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
It is the best anime of all time. I haven't watched it yet though.
Yeah, okay, there was an old OVA with a 5.64. What is this one? That's Fire Force. Yeah, no, okay, it looks like there was just an old one. And it was an old OVA. Oh, no, what I'm thinking of is... Oh, my God. Fire Emblem Heroes Book 3 Movie Cohort of the Dead.
Huh?
Oh,
Its Japanese title...
We're just like looking stuff up now. We should probably be done with this segment soon.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, alright, we're done.
Alright, we're on to the comments. Let's see. SpeakPipe, we got any voicemails? We got
Are you able to link us?
Yeah, we're able to. I'm able to send the download link, and that should just like let you play it inside Discord. But we don't have any voicemails.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I know we got a comment. We actually got a comment like right when we started recording this.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I got like a notification for it. Or wait, no, it was a day ago. But I got the notification when we started recording. But on the last episode, Pokemon is not good in quotation marks or brackets. We got from Robert Anderson, the legend. Pokemon is the most financially successful thing of all time. Do not fact check. You'd think that it would be good for the budget of their projects, but it's also why those same projects are rushed out. It's a balancing act of disappointment, true modern art. Yeah. I think that's really the thing with the whole intent of the comments is to actually like say something about them, but we've had so few comments that we kind of just like gloss over them. So I think that's actually something I wanted to say in the Pokemon episode about how like the reason Pokemon is like this is because like it's the perfect machine of like lots of people don't like Pokemon that much, any individual Pokemon thing, but the fact that there's like so much of it just kind of like put out, and it's like corporatized enough to the point where nothing that comes out is going to be like egregiously, absurdly bad. Everybody's got a few little things where they're like, I kind of like that, and so they just like Pokemon. So everybody likes Pokemon, so Pokemon just has infinite money.
Joke's
That's
on
the
you.
strat.
Joke's on you. I hate Pokemon. Please ignore my complete collection of DS Pokemon games.
Also, Robert Anderson seems to be very self-conscious about their voice. I thought their voice sounded like a cool guy in that voicemail. Yeah. It sounded like a cool. That's all I thought when I heard Robert Anderson's voice. It didn't sound like you were like stumbling, so don't worry. We're all our own worst critic.
Yeah. You just, learning how to move past that is life,
Yeah.
All right. And that is the artistic message of this podcast. It is now over. Goodbye, everybody.
All right.
Congratulations. Oh, wait a minute. No, that has like a new thing. Oh, yeah. Among Us.
Among Us.
Among Us.
Ding, ding,
Among
ding,
Us.
Ding, 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 ding.
All right, that's where we're ending it.
Look at this person.